All right, you guys. Hello, hello. I see I got 5 people in here. Hi, Cool Cat, Flavor Flav, a la Mason. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you guys remember that song, but it was a song that was in I think it was on the soundtrack of School Days. So the reason I put this up here, as you can see by the title, we're going to be discussing a few things today. We got Princella, the Queen Makers, up to her old tricks again. Why the grease Gooch or Gooch grease and the origins of STDs. Oh, you wrote me a poem? Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to hear it. You want to email it to me, or you want to put it on the you want to put it in the chat so everybody can see your poem. I hope it's a good one. Anyway, you guys, listen. Let me tell you something. I have a list of the deconstructions of which are sublime, of Princella's ills, pussy management skills, and interactions that are well worth your time. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, you guys, listen. This weekend, okay, you see the thumbnail. Princella pulls Ken Billions out of her pocket and puts him back in. And the reason I said that was because she did a live with Ken, and and then all of a sudden it's gone. So she pulled him out, did a live with him, and then put it back in because she was like, because let me tell you something, folks. Now, you see, I know how Princella thinks, right? So what I did was I took some notes, baby. I took some notes, okay? Because something said, take some notes, because she's a slick one. She's a slick one. Because if you guys would have been privy to that live, I don't know if you guys heard it. It was, I only was able to catch the beginning, right? But to me, that was the meat and potatoes of the live. The rest of it, if I didn't see it, it must have been bullshit because I tuned out. But anyway, your girl took some notes, some talking points that I wanted to address because I was like, these motherfuckers are crazy. So I took the notes, and when I got to looking up some of the stuff that, they were talking about, I was like, you people need some help. You need some really, the references, the people that Kim was referencing. And when I looked them up, and I was just like, you know what, dude, really? Like, you guys are con artists. I don't know much about Ken. I know, he's a sweet guy. I love the tone of his voice. I love the way he explains things. He's very handsome to me, well put together. That cool dude, that you'd be able to sit down and have a good conversation with. However, I did see him and Madame Princella bumping heads. Like, they have two different views on things, right? So anyway, I always take the liberty of looking stuff up for y'all because I like to, be informative on my lives. So she did a live on the STDs or some crap she was talking about in Gooch grease, right? Now, Gooch grease has been around since 2005. So 2005, it made it into the Urban Dictionary, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because, honey, if you got some Gooch grease coming out your rectum to the point where you need to wear a pad, a sanitary napkin, that is just out of the norm, right? So if you got Gooch grease dripping out of your petunia, we'll call it, there's something wrong with your petunia, and you maybe need to go to the doctor and have it surgically fixed, right? So let's do this. I know. Listen. You know what? Let me share this really quick. I had, like I told you guys before, I put a lot of my videos on private, right? So I was looking at one of my lives this morning, and I was like, oh my God, you're gorgeous, girl. Where'd you come from? But that's neither here nor there. But the topics that I was discussing about YouTubers stealing your content and not giving you credit for it, I was talking about that. And as I was listening to it, I saw a whole bunch of things. Okay, now here's the thing. When I first came on YouTube, I love music. I really, really love music. So when I came on YouTube, I would typically play music before, at the beginning of my lives, right? And of course, they stole that. I would put a video, I love the dog pound. I would do dog pound. I would do just a lot of music before my videos, kind of really addressing my points. So, of course, YouTube started copying because that was not the thing. So, yes, they copied off the code. They did. And then it was 3 years ago. Now, I don't know how long Tasha K has been around, but in that particular video, I was doing a wine tasting, right? I had my wine rack, which I still have. Every now and again, I like to drink wine. I say I don't drink, but every now and again, I'll have a sip of wine, or I'll have my one of my favorite drinks, Remy on the rocks. Just a little bit, nothing. No overdoing it to where I'm falling down drunk. Just if I'm in the mood, and I haven't been in the mood in a long time. So anyway, I saw Unwind with Tasha K there in my live when I was doing a little wine testing. Even with in the video when I was showcasing my wine rack and different things of that nature, I had a crown on top of my Crown Royal box. I'm thinking Princella the Queen Maker. You bitches are not original. You got all your shit from me. You guys, you have no brains. You don't think like you say you do, and you're copycats. Then I was on there and I was like, I said what I said. Y'all know I said what I said, girl. Stole my sayings. I mean, just ripping a sister off and not giving her no fucking credit. Fuck y'all. Right? Just rip the queen off. You understand what I'm saying? Just rip me off of all my shit. Music, wine, my sayings, my crown. You bitches got a lot of motherfucking nerves. And here's my thing. When I'm using somebody else's content, I always give them credit. However, you got a lot of YouTubers who, and I was just basically going in. I should let you guys hear it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you guys hear it. I was just going in because you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna let you guys hear what I was saying. You can't see me. There was some things. Oh my God, your girl is crazy. I was saying some stuff back then, but I have not changed. You guys are gonna hear it. Let me find it. Oh my God. So let me go to my channel. Your girl's crazy, okay? Oh, here we go. Let me find this video. I was just going in. I'm gonna have to find the part 2. I was going in. Let me let y'all hear this because I takes no shit. I'm gonna say I like to call people out. You need to be called out on your bullshit. I saw all my I was like, these motherfucking bitches. Let me find this. Come on. Yeah, I was sitting in front of my little fireplace that I made. I handmade me a fireplace. It's decorations and stuff like that. Because, your girl's creative and, all that. So, yeah, I was just like, oh my God. I was going in. I should have kept it up. But let me. Come on. Yeah, it was not kosher at all. I hate how this thing, when I'm not on live, everything is working perfectly 100% fine. And then when I get online, let me see. What is that? Okay, here it is right here. Oh, come on. Here it is right here. I'm going to just start it from when, okay, here it is. Oh my God, you guys. Yes. Let me see if I can get to the point where oh yeah, I am. I'm already there. Okay, so it was just okay. Where are we at? When my family first came to Cali, honey, it was all they're not sharing with us. So focused on their appearance and their hair, and we got them so focused on. Hold on, you guys. I'm trying to find it. To even realize what happened to me. I don't know, and I think that damn wine hit me a little bit. It was not pretty after that. Right, I do. Yep. Yes, honey. They didn't come here. Oh yeah, I was flinging my arms. Oh Lord, have mercy! Don't ever let me see myself like that. Let you motherfuckers know what's going on. Oh, street with her if you for decades. Hold on one second. What? Come on, what is going on here? Like straight or you around anybody? You can go and hold on, you guys. I'm gonna mute myself. All right. Here we go, you guys. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna clear my cache. But here we go. Listen to this. Listen to this heifer. Okay, listen to this heifer. She is just out of her mind. Y'all not gonna be able to see it because, I don't know why they like to block my screen. But here we go. Do a goddamn thing. Somebody claims that they were the first one to drag Kobe. No, you were not the first one to drag Kobe Bryant. Disney Queen was the first one to drag Kobe Bryant. Cut it out. Disney Queen was the first one to drag Kobe Bryant. She gave no fucks. Okay, so stop it. And I am going to continue to watch these people's lives because I want to make sure they stop stealing my content, because in 5 seconds, I'm going to start stealing theirs. Okay, so anyway, we're going to sit that right there. We're going to leave it alone. One of the things I did want to do, I stole that from Cardi B. Okay, wait, let me see. Hold on. Oh shit, I gotta stop sharing. Okay, I went too far up, but let me. Come on, reload. Stop it. People's lives, because I want to make sure they're not they stop that we stun our kids. They're secretly watching your live program. Why not allow? Okay, we just gonna start it right here. We're gonna start it right here. Because I was hot that day. They be stealing, and I said this was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, they stealing shit. Don't want to give you your credit because they don't want to they don't want to mention your name because they don't want people watching, coming over to your channel. They're just some pirates. Them to make more and more and more and more and more decisions for themselves with your guidance, so that when they do become of age, they already know how to make the decisions and control their lives. We have this thing to where we just want to control somebody so bad that we stun our kids. We make it to where our kids, by the time they reach 18, they're stupid. They don't know how to make decisions. They're making poor decisions when they are making decisions. So many things are going wrong with our young adults, and it's a shame. Now, something really didn't sit right with me, and this is a little off subject, but it's regarding a son. So I'm going to speak on it, and of course, it's regarding Kobe Bryant. So I distinctly remember doing a live the other day. Matter of fact, I'm going to look it up because I promise you, people, they are secretly watching your lives. They're secretly watching your live program and then getting on YouTube copying. Okay, they're getting on YouTube and they're copying your shit. They're copying your style. They're copying off your content, and then they're making it as if they came up with it. So I did a live 3 days ago titled "Slow Your Attitude, Maria, aka Little Vanessa," and this was in regards to the situation I had at the bank regarding a Hispanic woman, and to me it seemed as if it was a war against Spanish and Black women because of Kobe Bryant. So in this live, I addressed the fact that I bet you Kobe's parents are mad because when Kobe got with that girl, she was 17. And the fact that in Blackistan, we consider that pedophilia and that is statutory rape. So this person is going to get on her live today and going to say, why is nobody talking about this? Vanessa was 17 in a video shoot when Kobe got with her, and her parents were going to
her family was gonna file a lawsuit against him for statutory rape, and but so that's the real reason why he married Vanessa, and why is nobody talking about it? Quit playing. Quit playing. She saw my live and trying to make it seem like, oh, nobody. I was the first one to talk about that and to put it that way. Everybody's running away from the fact that yes, rape charges were brought against Kobe Bryant. The fact that he's not getting along with his parents is public, and the fact that when he got with that girl, she was 17. She was a minor. So I have already addressed that. Now this person was, why is nobody quit playing? Because if it was on your mind, she would have said something about that long time ago. How long has it been? She's been bringing out stuff on people since I don't know when. And so now you secretly watch my live, and you did some research, because you probably didn't even know that being 17 and dealing with somebody the age of 18 and up is considered statutory rape. You just now figured that out. I've known that for many, many years now, because I'm from Cali. So you just now looked it up. So cut it out, quit playing, quit acting like, you know what I'm saying? Why is nobody talking about? Somebody has already talked about it, and you secretly watching my live, and you're copying off my content, and get your shit together, because I can start copying off of yours. All the stuff that I put on here is original, it's mine. And then if it's not, I will tell you where I got it from. It's like I did my little cooking show. I told y'all where I got the oat clusters from. So, people, they're around here watching your videos, stealing your content, and then don't even want to give you your props. Don't even want to address you and speak the truth on where they got it from. So cut it out. Quit copying off of people's stuff and be original. I'm not copying off of your stuff. So stop copying off of mine. You know what? And as a matter of fact, while we're on the subject, a lot of these YouTubers have copied off of my stuff, have copied off the way that I do my lives. I mean, it's pitiful. And they don't want to give you your props. You can go on somebody's live and try to support their channel, and you know what I'm saying? They act like they're the all to be all. You know what I'm saying? Talk to you like you dog shit. You know what I'm saying? And all this kind of stuff. There's no unity with Black people, because everybody wants to be the center of attention, and nobody wants to share the stage. Okay? Now, I said what I said, and I'm going to sit that right there, and I'm going to leave it there. The next time, because you have to stay on these YouTubers, and you have to watch them, because they do steal the way that you're doing your lives. They steal your content. They try to make it seem like, oh, I was the first one to talk about so and such, and you wasn't the first one to do a goddamn thing. Somebody claims that they were the first one to drag Kobe. No, you were not the first one to drag Kobe Bryant. Disney Queen was the first one to drag Kobe Bryant. Cut it out. Disney Queen was the first one to drag Kobe Bryant. She gave no fucks. Okay, so stop it. And I am going to continue to watch these people's lives, because I want to make sure they stop stealing my content, because in 5 seconds, I'm going to start stealing theirs. Okay, so anyway, we're going to sit that right there. We're going to leave it alone. One of the things I did want to do, and I stole that from Cardi B, is I told you guys that I wanted to do some wine tasting. I like wine. I don't drink wine that often. And let me tell you something. I don't spend a whole lot of money on wine. This wine, Tisdale, sweet, red, winemaker selection, 7-Eleven special. 7-Eleven, honey. Yes. I get my wine from 7-Eleven. And in all actuality, I don't just get my wine from 7-Eleven. If I see a bottle that is cute, distinctive, unique looking, I go and get it. So you can see my wine rack behind me. I'm going to move my camera. So you can see my wine rack. And that pink one was a Valentine wrap bottle of wine that I found at a gas station. I don't know, I get gas a lot because I'm always on the road. And then that one that's sitting on top with the two glasses on either side, I got that one at a gas station. That's Stella Rose Moscato. And so I just thought the packaging was really nice, so I decided to bring it home, put it on my wine rack, and there we go. So I'm stacking my wines, but I wanted to taste this one. I don't know if I had it before or not. I probably have. I don't know, but I haven't drank wine in I don't know how long. So
all right, you guys. So yeah, you heard it. Like what the hey? Quit stealing people's content. Anyway, I was looking at that. Was funny. I rarely go back and look at my lives, and the purpose of me doing it live is so that I don't like doing editing. I don't like to have to start and stop. I mean, if it comes out, it comes out. I'm not editing anything. So anyway, let's go. So Miss Thang, I guess the going got tough, and the heat was coming down on her about male bashing. And so what she decided to do was she decided to do a live with Kim Billions. Let me pull Kim Billions out of my pocket to show everybody that, yes, I do get along with a man. Right? So here's Ken, everybody. And we didn't pre-plan anything. We're just going to talk as if we were in the room having a conversation with one another. Oh, bullshit. So anyway, according to my notes, since she put Ken back in her pocket, she began by, speaking. I'm just doing the talking points. I'm not going word for word or anything like that. I'm just doing the little talking points that I wrote down that I wanted to discuss, right? So she was like, she was talking about informed consent. So she was saying that her followers, since they have decided to follow her and subscribe and join her channel, that this was them giving informed consent for her, I guess, to basically rewire their brains. Well, Madam Princella, informed consent means that you have informed your participants of everything that is going to take place in your rewiring of their minds, and then they sign to it because now they are informed of everything that you will be doing to them, turning them into same-sex partners, telling them that men are all evil, telling them that once they join your cult, they're not going to be able to date men anymore, and if they do, you're going to ridicule them. Putting in their heads that all men are evil and this, that, and the third. Informed consent is something that you inform people of everything that's going to happen, and then they decide whether they want to join consent to it or not. So no, ma'am, what you did not do was not informed consent. Okay, let's get that out the way first and foremost. I will pull up what informed consent is, but I just told you. It means to be informed of what's going to happen. When people go to surgery, the doctor has to inform them this is going to happen. This could potentially happen. But these are the things that we're going to do. These may be some of the side effects. You're going to have this kind of medication. You're going to be put under anesthesia for this long. So on and so forth. And then the person says, okay, well, yeah, I consent, and they sign, right? You can't just say, oh, you can't have implied consent, because your audience didn't know everything that you were going to be putting in their heads to change their minds, right? So that you don't have informed consent. So anyway, Mr. Kim Billions, then he took over, And one of the things, he sounded so educated and so professional about, what he was saying and the way he spoke and the things that he mentioned. And I got to saying he started talking about transcendence, and he started talking about anedia or breatharianism, and how people transcend, and how these breatharians were able to transcend above beyond needing food and water and this and that third. And I was like, what the fuck? Who in this world does not need food and water all the way down to the bottom feeders of the ocean? Right? So I took the liberty of looking it up. And I was like, Ken, if you don't have several seats, you have to be careful what you're saying online, because as we have a lot of impressionable minds, as evidenced by the people who have joined PRINCELLA's cult. You have to be impressionable, basically uneducated, have no direction in life, don't see yourself going anywhere, to just blindly follow a person. So we have to be careful what we're putting online and in people's minds, preferably Black people, because they're the ones that just really don't do any research. Their minds are vulnerable due to drinking and drug use, right? Abuse, different things of that nature. So we have to be careful what we're putting in people's heads and what we're saying online. So when he said that, I was like, no, we're going to look that one up, because we want to know what the hey is going on, right? You can't just sit here and say a person transcended, people transcended above needing food and water. Bullshit. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger, make the words a little bit bigger for you guys and myself. So, anedia, fasting, Latin for fasting, or breatharianism, right, is the claimed ability for a person to live without consuming food, and in some cases water. It is a pseudo scientific practice, and several adherents of these practices have died from starvation or dehydration as not having followed security guidelines, especially forcing change too fast. A good basic health is one of the prerequisites taught by experts in the field. Multiple cases where this practice was attempted have resulted in failure or death, right? Breatharians claim that food and sometimes water is not necessary for survival. The terms breatharianism or anedia may also be used when it's practiced as a lifestyle in place of a usual diet, right? So people who have practiced this have died. That is not called transcendence. That is called regression to the womb. Okay, all the way to the womb. And then even still, as the fetus grows, they start to drink amniotic fluid. They thirsty, right? Stop it, Ken. Because if you put in people's heads that they don't need food and water, they're going to die. You're going to kill people. So stop trying to sound like you just know so much about everything. You're just so educated. This is why they give out degrees. This is why people go to college to learn, right? This is why education is verified, and this is why you are taught in a certain way or led in a certain direction as far as education is concerned, because you don't just need to be saying anything out of your mouth. Like, education is power, right? Education is power. You can change people's minds and change their directions in life and change their behaviors through education, right? This is what PRINCELLA has done. However, as an educator, you want to make sure, since you have control basically over these people's minds according to what you're teaching them, you want to make sure that you aren't leading them down a path of destruction. That's why we have lesson plans in education. That's why we know the content, we know the direction we want to take people in. We want to make sure that when we educate them, they have so many different paths to choose from of their own, of their own what the way they want to go, right? So in nursing, if we were just taught that the world is full of disease and pathogens and bacteria and this and that and the third, and then we're not taught that there are medical interventions that can be taken, there's medications, there's bleach, there's all different types of things to kill these pathogens and protect ourselves from these pathogens. You will have people in the medical field thinking that any and everything is just nasty. I can't touch you, I can't touch me, I can't touch the kids, I can't get in the water, I can't sit at the table, I can't use pots and pans because there's bacteria on everything. However, being that medical educators are proven and have degrees, they teach both sides of the equation. Yes, there's disease and pathogens, but yes, we do have things that cure, prevent, relieve of, and different things like that, right? So when you take a group of people and you tell them that men are evil and they're this and they're that and the third, and then you don't give them the other half of it, you just led people down the road of destruction. I can't touch men. I shouldn't touch men. I shouldn't be with men. Oh, they're all evil. They're going to grape me. They're going to beat me. They're going to unalive me. They're going to do this. Of course. But then there's the other side. Your behavior, the type of man you get, how he was brought up, what is he into? What does he have to lose? So it's almost like a path of fear that she sent these ladies on, which it makes her an incompetent educator. Right? We all can say we're educators. Anytime you teach something that makes you an educator. Back in the day, people didn't have to have a license to be educators. It was just the fact that they liked, teaching and being around kids, right? Nowadays, you have to have a license to be an educator. Hi, Alana. Now you have to have a license to be an educator. And this is one of the reasons why. Because if you're teaching things that lead people down a path of destruction, they'll pull it. This is why when teachers are in a classroom and they're calling people the N-word, they get fired. This is why when the teachers are in a classroom having sexual relations with their students, they get fired, they get their license pulled. You can no longer teach, right? You can no longer be around people and so-called teach them. You have proven to be a detriment. Goodbye. And that's exactly what she is. So anyway, Ken had mentioned he was in this talk of me suit or whatever the hell that is. I couldn't even find that. I'll have to ask him, what the hell is me suit, me, whatever. But anyway, he was mentioning these people like Napoleon Hill, Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, Dale Carnegie, and these people that have so-called transcended, overcome, bullshit, which is true. However, when I got to looking up these people, Mr. Rockefeller, of course, his father was a con man, right? J.P. Morgan had some issues, right? Dale Carnegie had his issues, but what really stood out to me was Mr. Napoleon Hill, right? So I mean, what do they do? They just sit around and get their education from con men so that they can con the community, because basically all of these men were con artists. They were con artists. So let me share my screen, and we're just going to talk about a little bit about Napoleon Hill, which was a con man. I mean, well, that's how he was described. But if you, like I said, if you listen to people when they talk and you research what they're talking about and who they're talking about, it tells you a lot about the person that's talking. Okay? So, Mr. Napoleon Hill, right? So it says Oliver Napoleon Hill, born October 26, 1883, died November 8, 1970, was an American self-help author and con man. He is best known for his book, Think and Grow Rich, which is among the best-selling self-help books of all time. Hill's works insisted that fervent expectations are essential to improving one's life. Most of his books were promoted as expounding principles to achieve success. Hill is a controversial figure, accused of fraud. Modern historians also doubt many of his claims, such as that he met Andrew Carnegie and that he was an attorney. So Gizmodo has called him the most famous con man you've probably never heard of, right? Because I didn't hear of him until Ken mentioned him, right? So at the age of 17, Hill graduated from high school and moved to Tazewell, Virginia to attend business school, right? Hill accepted a job working for the lawyer Rufus A. Ayers in 1901, a coal magnate and former Virginia Attorney General, right? So Hill left his coal mine management job soon afterward and enrolled in law school before withdrawing owing to a lack of funds. Later in life, Hill would use the title of attorney of law. Although Hill's official biography notes that there is no record of his having actually performed legal services for anyone, right? We're not going to go into his failed business ventures. We all have that. Do I want to look at some fraud? Okay. It is sometime in 1908 that Hill claims his pivotal conversation with Andrew Carnegie happened. However, there is no record of the two meeting, and he spent much of the year on the run from the authorities. Following the exposure of his fraud in Alabama, Hill fled to Washington, D.C., where he dropped Oliver as his first name and began going by Napoleon Hill, right? Listen. His wife Edith filed for divorce in 1908. At the proceedings, Hill's friends and business partners testified to his affairs with prostitutes. Now we're gonna just stop right there because I didn't make it up, right? The fact of the matter is that this is a con man. So when you have somebody mentioning a con man and saying how they transcended and how they're one of the greats and different things of that nature, you need to ask yourself a question. Once you find out about who these people are, why would this person be mentioning why would this person be mentioned? This is who you're getting your information from. Con men teaching you how to be a con man, right? And we have Miss Alana Davis here, and she says, oh, I've heard of him. Excellent mentor for Miss Clark. Right. So what have I been saying? When all of your written mentorship is of con men, what does it tell you that person is trying to do? When you're reading Pimpology, right, by Pimp and Ken, what is that saying? you're receiving the game from a con man. I'm not, I don't talk about pimp Ken. Hey, people got to do what we got to do. But the fact of the matter is that we have to keep it 100 and stay in reality. Con man, conning women to sell their vaginas for them, right? While he reaps all the benefit and they reap all the pain. And that's basically what has happened here. She's reaping all the benefits and her subscribers are experiencing all the pain. Right? So this is where him and Princella bumped heads. Ken was like, well, I'm not a leader. I don't consider myself to be a leader. And he kind of sounded like me the other day when I was saying I'm not a leader because, I might change my mind. I want to go in this direction, or I might change my mind. I want to go in that direction. I swear to God, I was like, did Ken watch my live? Because this is basically the same thing he said. He was like, I'm not a leader. And I might decide, I want to do this, or I might decide I want to do that. But when you know yourself, you don't claim to be something that you aren't, right? And so Princella's like, well, I'm a leader. No, you're not. You're a con woman. You're a con woman because leaders don't teach the way she teaches. Leaders don't lead people down paths of destruction on purpose. Leaders don't teach a path of destruction. Period. There is no on purpose or by accident when you're teaching people to be successful in their lives, right? So they bumped heads on that. And then Ken was saying how there are also men who have transcended beyond the point of needing sex, which you would say amongst life, listen, honey, I bet you $1,000 in the middle of the night when the lights go down, them fucking monks are whacking off. Okay? That is sex with your hand. Okay? So don't sit, just because it's not sex with a woman, just because they're not married, and listen, the penis gets hard even when they don't want it to. I don't give a damn how clean your thoughts are. I don't give a damn if there's no women around. It is because it is a biological need. You cannot tell me that monks don't get hard penises. Bullshit. So just because they've transcended beyond a woman, beyond needing a woman, doesn't mean they've transcended beyond the need for sex. They have to release. They have to. Isn't that what Princella says? They have to. They have to release. So they really haven't transcended fully at all. They've only transcended above women, not their hands. Okay, so that's where they bumped head, because according to Princella, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the bottom level, sex is one of those, right? People can't go without having sex. Right? So then Ken says, oh, becoming a surgeon is harder than becoming a man. No, becoming a surgeon is easier than becoming a man. But what he said was, becoming a man is harder than becoming a surgeon. I beg to differ, because what's the definition of a man? Right? So I didn't get a chance to look that up, but let's see. Hi, Antonio, you're here. Yay. Okay, so let's look up the definition of a man. Okay, well, I'm going to just show y'all what the damn dictionary says. I'm going to just show y'all what the dictionary says. I hear it. I mean, I didn't make it up. So, man, an adult male human being. A tall man with a beard entered the restaurant. 26 men and women participated in the study. The men's semifinals. A human being of either sex, a person, right? the basic definition is adult male human being. That's the definition of a man. So how is it hard when you're just automatically a man? Once they define that being an adult is 18, right? So how hard is it to turn 18? You're a man now. You're a man. You're a man. Man, okay, let's look, Antonio. So man definition is an adult male with responsibility. Right, I agree 100%. There's all different types of responsibility. First of all, we're responsible for ourselves. We're responsible for our cleanliness. We're responsible for eating. We're responsible for taking ourselves to the bathroom. We're responsible for everything, right? But basically, how is it harder to be a man? How is becoming a man harder than becoming a surgeon when you have to go through basic general education college courses? Then you have to graduate, your 4-year university or whatever. Then you need to go into medical school, right? Because a physician basically has a PhD. So that is many, 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 many years of education. So it's easier to be a man than it is to be a surgeon, because then once you finish medical school, now you have to practice on people, right? You have to do your residency. If you're going to be a surgeon, you have to attend multiple surgical sessions. You have to know the tools. You have to know where to cut. You have to know how to sew. You have to know how to do everything. So, I mean, the comparison, there is no comparison. It's harder to become a surgeon than it is to become a man, right? Antonio, I agree 100%. But who is giving out these definitions? People, right? Who is giving out these definitions, right? How do you, so you basically, you're going to let somebody define you as a man. I think in the moral sense, it's that men take care of responsibility, children and spouses, self, etc. Right? I agree with that 100%. But that's not what makes you a man. That makes you a good person. That makes you a responsible person. But you don't have to do anything to become a man. You just grow up. Right? So then you would say, okay, well, what's a boy? A boy is one, you can't say he doesn't have any responsibilities, because he does. He has the responsibility of getting himself dressed. He has the responsibility of putting food in his mouth. He has the responsibility of going to school. So what defines a boy? Down to the cellular, molecular level. He's a boy. Right? He's not a girl. He's a boy. So people, I mean, we somebody said, who was this? I forget. I was watching somebody's live, or maybe it was a commercial on YouTube, or maybe it was somewhere, but somebody said that in the English language, one word has multiple meanings. I mean, there is just, so you can just flip and mix and match definitions to one freaking word. And that is where society gets so confused, right? Gets so confused. But see, okay, but sometimes you can't say that a boy is an immature, undeveloped man. Sometimes you can't say that he's immature, because then you would have to say that they emancipated an immature 16-year-old, right? They emancipate 16-year-olds, right? He got his job. He's emancipated, which means he's an adult at 16. He's emancipated. So this is what I'm saying. Like, you can become a man at 16. If you're emancipated, you're considered an adult. So you're considered an adult male at 16 because the courts have emancipated you and said so. So there's so many, I mean, damn. Like, really? Really? So I mean, it is, it, you know, it is what it is. It's like you can use one word and have a 100 different meanings, right? So as they went on in their discussion, right? They were just like basically going back and forth, and to me they were bumping heads. To me they didn't agree on shit. But here, okay, here's what I wanted to say about that. I think that was Ken's way of standing up to Princella. I think she's been punking him. Now that's just something I'm just speculating. I don't know that for sure. But if we recall him being on her previous lives, he was very submissive and docile, especially when he called in. He basically agreed with everything she said, and his talking points basically bounced off of hers, and they were just in male and female harmony. Well, this live to me was very, very different, because versus him just going off of her and agreeing with everything she said and then doing his talking points around her talking points to make her look good and to, be agreeable. He was kind of like taking his own stance, because what he was saying was basically the opposite of what she was saying, letting the audience know that no, I'm not Princella's bitch. I am my own man. I have my own philosophy. I have my own thought, and I do my own research. And she didn't like that very much. That's probably why she took the damn thing down, right? That's why she took it down, because it didn't make her look good. It made her look bad, because it's like, oh, well, I thought you guys were in such harmony with one another. But then he actually took a stand and was like, no, I'm my own man. And bitch, don't pull me out your pocket no more. Because if I was him, I wouldn't let her do that. I wouldn't let her do that at all. And then I went on Ken's page, on his YouTube page. And I was like, how is him being Princella's cheerleader benefiting him? It hasn't. His views are low, right? It appears that nobody is watching his content. The most views he's had is when he did a live with Princella, when he talked about Kevin Samuels, and I think when he talked about Pearly Things. So, you listen, if she gonna be making all the fucking money, why would you even continue to allow her to pull you out of her pocket when she wants to appear as if she is just I do get along with men. There are some men that I do get along. It's not that I don't get along with any men, and then when she says, she pulls her mentor out of her pocket. Oh, if you don't want to talk to me, if you don't want to listen to me, then you can just listen to my mentor. I'll have him talk to you. So that's what she does. She pulls men out of her pocket when it benefits her. So basically, they're just her tool, right? So you would think that we're just going to look at this really quick, because I don't want to be saying stuff and y'all be like, oh no, she's wrong, or she's just saying stuff. And, no, we're going to look at it, right? So he only has 7.24K subscribers. Mind you, he only has 346 videos, but damn, right? If you're going over there to Princella's page and you're making her look good, and you're you're seconding her emotion and you're cheerleading for her subscribers should be subscribed to you as well, right? How fair is that? It's not fair at all. So when we look at, his little shorts, he got one he did a year ago, 856, 2.6, 464, 838, 1.5, 475, 1.4. So he's only doing like about 1K viewers, right? If that, right? And I mean, even if her subscribers just subscribed to her channel and everybody just went and clicked on his damn video one time, that should bring his numbers up. What the fuck is going on here? Right? Oh, I'm gonna use you, but you can't have none of my resources. So I'm gonna use you for your resources, but you can't have any of my resources. Right? You can't have any of my resources. I'm sorry, I don't think you guys can see. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. But yeah, I can use your resources, but you can't use any of mine. Really? Right? So these are just the videos that he puts up, right? Okay, he got 15K on the 48 Laws of Power. That was 6 years ago. Maybe she stole that from him, because she's a content thief. So he did 6 years ago, 48 Laws of Power, right? He got 15K views off of that. I guess that's what people are interested in. Oh, he's a little music. Oh, he got some music. Shut up, Ken. Let's see what he's talking about. Yeah, thank you, Miss Love. See, that's all we want is some honesty. That's all we want is honesty. I like some Princella's content, but she's definitely a bully. We know. Let's vibe with Ken.
I fly away from the evil, away from the ignorant people, fly over cathedrals, away from the needles, away from diseases, AIDS and measles. Now it's swine flu. What's next? A nuclear war? Tell the truth, I don't even feel human no more. Got a question why the cops keep shooting us for? Why the army come around here recruiting us for? Cause we poor and they need puppets dead in the war. And I'm sure that we all need to grow mature. The allure of fortune is like a mental torture. And fortune to live wrong, now you endorse it. Negative forces to get the new air forces. Choice is yours. Better not blame God, yo. It's hard, yo, but you gotta still aim high, yo. Let's all be eagles and fly in the sky, yo. To a better place, every way, right day. I just wanna fly away. Your love is hurt, misery. I wanna fly away. If I was an eagle, I fly like a 747 over clouds, soaring close to heaven. No stressing, boring, no depression, no doubts, no second guessing, no ambulances, no stretches. Letting my wings spread. If I would've never flew, I probably have been dead. Fly to Mecca, everybody can fly, but fear won't catch ya. If you wanna fly, they don't, you gotta leave them. Can't be afraid of heights either, need a strong set of wings for long distance flying. See the beauty of life, baby, open your eyelids. Everybody's diamond, but just don't know it. Everybody gets a chance, don't blow it. If you ain't got confidence yet, you gotta grow it. Till then, it's all flying. I just wanna fly away to a better place. Every way, bright day. I just wanna fly away. Love is hurt, misery. I wanna fly away. Can't be afraid of flying. Be fearless. Reach for the stars. Dream you can be never. Reflection never lies. Don't run from the mirror. Past is the past. Leave it there. Where's your ambition? No time to sit and find your mission. Homie, go the distance. Fear is a weakness. Learn from it. Nothing feels better than life than when you learn something. To a better place. Every way, bright day. I just wanna fly away. I wanna fly away.
Okay, that was hot. Why doesn't he use this as his opening on his videos? He got some, I like that. Okay. But anyway, like I was saying, why aren't her subscribers subscribed to him if they don't hate men? He's over there supporting her. He's supporting her channel. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they don't even have to watch his videos. They can just go click on them, and that would just bring his numbers way up. I mean, who does that? I hate this. But yeah, look at this. So, like I said, his views are low, but I know he does a lot of content on Facebook. However, you know, what's going on with YouTube? Why is she not sharing any of her subscribers? Why isn't she sharing any of her views? She ain't sharing nothing with this man, and he the one that, you know, he got another 48 laws of power, law 2, right? Learn how to use enemies. Yeah, the enemies better stay the fuck away from me. Anyway, yeah, look at this. No, look at the lives, right? And I'm just simply pointing out how he did a stream a day ago. He only got 1.9K views. Why is she not sending people over to Ken's channel to say, hey, support my homeboy Ken? Right? We want to make him look good because anything that PRINCELLA is involved in, we want to, you know, at least say that they're successful. He hasn't been successful by being on her team. It's time for him to set some demands. Right? Listen, boo. If I come on your channel, you're going to have to tell at least 2K of your people to subscribe to me and watch my goddamn content. Just click on and click off or something. Come on now. Come on now. He's still only doing 1K view now. I ain't one to talk, but you know, I'm not in this type of YouTube battle for YouTube funds. I'm not, so you know what I'm saying? I'm cool with who watch my videos. I'm good with that. I don't need to be some big YouTube star or this, that, and the third. I'm a big star in my profession. So anyway, look at this. Nobody's pretty much watching, but she got all these fucking views on her channel, right? Everybody's supporting her shit, right? Oh, see, here it is. 5K views on the game, 41 Shades of Men. They didn't even come over there to his channel really to watch her. That was streamed 4 months ago, right? So it's like, I'm helping you promote your book. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing lives with you on my channel. And you know, you're not even, I can't get no support. I can't get no more support than what you giving me. Right? It seems like bullshit to me. I thought we was in this thing together. He got 3.8K views on doing Pearly on just Pearly things, but then that was a 6-hour damn live, right? And then I mean, basically he's doing, you know, 1K views, 2K on real fake people, BBLs, filter and scammer baby daddies. You know, people love to talk about big butts. So, I mean, really? Come on now. We got to do better than this, PRINCELLA. You supposed to support the people that support you. Look, 7.66K on Kevin Samuels. And so that was the most of his views, right? That was the largest view on Kevin Samuels, right? I mean, it is what it is. I'm just saying. You know, I'm not here to start no trouble, but I'm just saying, like, you're not even trying to help a brother out. She just want to sit there and she wants all the views because she's selfish. She doesn't want to share her platform, but she'll use you. She'll use men for their resources, but she won't help them really do shit. So now you tell me who's the resource grabber, right? So let me see what other talking point I have, and then I'm gonna move on because okay, so Ken said, he thought knowing self had to do with a group. PRINCELLA says that women need women. right? Women need women, a woman community, right? So then we had knowledge of people versus knowledge of self. You cannot transcend the body looking for community. You can't. You're transcending. You can transcend above people to where you don't need people's validation. Oh, I guess you could say that's what I did. I pretty much transcended above people. Like because I don't give a shit what you think, right? I don't need your validation. I don't need your company. I don't need your praise. I just need my check, right? But as far as me needing people to survive and to make me feel good, I've transcended beyond all that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're looking for people to make you happy, you will be very, very disappointed. And if these women think that a woman community is going to make them happy, they are sadly mistaken. Because anytime you put yourself in a cult, a group, or whatever, people are going to be looking to use your resources. I don't care if it's childcare, some money, some eggs, some sugar, some bread, some shoes, some makeup, some hair gel, some, some towels, some shit, whatever, right? Women use resources more than men. Soap powder, we do all the cooking. So you get with a bunch of women that don't really have what they need, they're gonna come knocking at your door for shit. Okay, you got some eggs, you got some you got some flour, you got some but you got a dick over there that you need to send out to a job so that he can buy you some eggs and some flour and the shit that you need, some soap powder. I know that much, right? That has always really been my motto. I don't help women that have men, because you got a whole man over there. He's supposed to go out, collect some cans, like Just Judy said, right? He should be able to go out there and do some day labor. He should have ways of providing for his family, even if he doesn't have a stable 9 to 5, right? He should be a handyman, some lawn services, going taking out people's trash. He should have some type of hustle, right? Some type of honest hustle, right? So you live in a state that snows. He should be his neighbors. I'll shovel the snow from out your yard and in front of your yard down the sidewalk. I'll $50 for everybody. He should always have some type of side hustle if he has a family, if he doesn't have a 9 to 5, right? During fall, I'm the person in the neighborhood that clears everybody's leaves, off the grass. I'll give you a discount. I'll do this. I'll provide the trash bags and pick up your leaves, and you just some type of side hustle a man should have. So that's why I said I don't help women that have men, because that's me feeding you and your man. I love the kids. Yeah, the kids got to eat. However, I'm not going to take care of you and your man. No. And that's the same way the government feels. So when the government decides they want to hand out welfare, they want to hand out Section 8, we're not taking care of you, your kids, and your man, because your man, if you have a man, if you have kids, either you're supposed to provide for you, your man, and your kids, or your man is supposed to provide for him, you, and your kids. But a man is not to be covered by the government, because he's able-bodied and he should have some way of bringing some type of finances in the home, or he should not be out making families. So it's like now we have a situation to where you done opened your legs to this man who can't provide, and now you need our services, right? You came to us. We didn't go knock on your door and say, here, fill out this application for welfare in Section 8. No, you came to us because the man that you have, you're not married to him, and he is unable to provide. He can't provide you with a place to stay. He can't provide you with food in your mouth. So we're giving you Section 8, and we're giving you food stamps. He can't provide you with no medical insurance. So we're giving you Medicaid, right? But we're not going to give it to him because he's pretty much more free than you are to go scouring the land for day labor and jobs in order to prepare for his family and take care of his family. If he can't do that, then that's too bad for him. So I always say I don't help women that have men because I'm not feeding you and your man. I'm not the government, okay? I'm the neighbor. So that was a thing that they kind of butted heads on. Ken is talking about transcendence. He's talking about, going, becoming above all the mediocre things in society and being independent, basically. And she's talking about go depend on a community of women for I don't know what. Okay. Sounds to me like you do better transcending above these women and be your own woman versus going and connecting yourself to all these other women's skirt tails. No. So she says, Princella says, people have a habit of looking for someone to lean on. Well, that's a community of women, right? So you're telling me that you don't want people to be able to lean on each other, but you want them to go to a community of women to lean on? That doesn't make any sense. So which way do you want it? Do you want them to be independent or do you want them to lean on a community? There was this lady. I don't know if she was on Facebook. I don't know if I was watching Facebook. I think it was Facebook. She had some video up talking about women's community and how, women help each other and different things of that nature. And if you need a babysitter, you should be able to go to the women in your community. Yeah. Back in 920 BC, when women had some sense about their damn selves. But nowadays, I wouldn't let no woman watch my goddamn kids. I don't know what that broad is doing, right? Because mind you, we have a lot of women coming from a lot of abusive relationships. All they do is know how to hit, scream, kick, and spit. So do you really think any of these women of today will be a good influence over your child and treat your child the way they're supposed to be treated? Hell, the damn kids can't even get treated appropriately in a damn daycare where they getting paid big bucks to watch your kids. They're still carrying themselves incompetently abusive, leaving kids outside, leaving them in the car, leaving them locked in a daycare center and everybody's gone. And I think they did that shit on purpose. You guys remember that story where that the lady comes to pick up her child at the daycare center and her child is in there alone? They left and locked that damn door and was like, oh, well, your mama is late. Goodbye. She'll be here to pick you up. I don't know how she's going to get you out of here, though. You guys remember that. You don't trust these women of today with shit. So all this women's community, no, these women are too damaged to be watching somebody else's kids but their own. You damage your own kids, and y'all keep your kids to yourself. You keep your kids away from these women. Think about it. Just think about it. You have a bunch of women who has basically come to this woman because they are in abusive relationships that they want out of. They're having all this turmoil, and they've been having all this turmoil throughout their entire lives and relationships. But then you mean to tell me that all of a sudden they've listened to Princella, the Queen Maker, and they have resolved all their issues, and now they're whole again? Bullshit. Those women are as abusive and not even if more. They're still abusive, if not more, being separated from the man that had their ass in check. They're just like children. Once they're grown and not around the parents anymore, they go out here and act like the worst people on the planet of the earth. Same thing with these women. They done got out these abusive, controlling relationships, and you mean to tell me you're gonna hand your kids over to somebody who has been trained to be abused, who has learned nothing but abuse and turmoil, and you're gonna let the bitches watch your kids? Okay, you go ahead and do that. Yeah, you go ahead and do that, right? So what I wanted to do really, 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 really quick while I wanted to look this up because we're always talking about, and I did this already. I did a live on this already. I'm not about to do that. Get out my face. So, we hear PRINCELLA talking about the ego. Oh, it's this ego. He he hit this woman in the face with a brick because of his ego. It's the ego this and the ego that. Well, let's review this. I could go to my video about the ego and super ego, but let's go to Wikipedia, because motherfuckers don't listen, right? So we have id, ego, and super ego. Let's clarify what these three things are, okay? In psychoanalytic theory, the id, ego, and superego are three distinct interacting agents in this psychic apparatus, defined in Sigmund Freud's structural model of the psyche. The three agents are theoretical constructs that Freud employed to describe the basic structure of mental life as it was encountered in psychoanalytic practice. Freud himself used the German terms es, ich, and Überich, which literally translate the it, I, and over I. The Latin terms id, ego, and superego were chosen by his original translators and have remained in use. Right? So the id, ego, and superego are not even in its original state. The ego psychology model of the psyche, the id, is the set of uncoordinated instinctual desires. The superego plays the critical and moralizing role. And the ego is the organized, realistic agent that mediates between the instinctual desires of the id and the critical superego. Freud compared the ego in its relation to the id to a man on horseback. The rider must harness and direct the super energy of his mount and at times allow for a practicable satisfaction of its urges. The ego is thus in the habit of transforming the id's will into action as if it were its own. So basically, the ego is not a bad thing. Out of the id and the superego, the ego is the organized, realistic agent that mediates between the instinctual desires of the id and the critical superego. So listen. So the ego is the one that got the goddamn sense in the psyche. And the id and the superego need some mediation. So the ego is the middleman, keeping everybody in check. Hey, id, come on, let's do what we supposed to do. Yeah, hey, superego, slow the fuck down. That's what. You gotta look up what this broad is talking about because she's just using shit. You see how she changed that? You see how she changed that? Let's read it again. In the ego psychology model of the psyche, the id is the set of uncoordinated instinctual desires. So then that would mean that no, people are not in their ego, they're in their id. Uncoordinated instinctual desires, right? Men, since she's saying are evil, this, they're uncoordinated in what they do. They want this, they want that, they do this, they do that. There's no coordination. They put their shoes on before they put their pants on. They put their underwear on, before they put this on. I mean, uncoordinated, right? The superego plays a critical and moralizing role, and the ego is the organized, realistic agent that mediates between the instinctual desires of the id and the critical superego. Wow. Freud compared the ego in its relation to the id to a man on horseback. The rider must harness and direct the superior energy of his mount, and at times allow for a practicable satisfaction of its urges. The ego is thus in the habit of transforming the id's will into action as if it were its own. So basically, the ego puts the id into action, say, okay, we got to do this, right? And then the ego says to the superego, hey, you got to loosen up on the morals. You know what I'm saying? We got to loosen up on them on these morals to get some satisfaction. Okay. Yeah, we know fornication in the Bible is, we're not supposed to do it, but dude, your Johnson is standing up. We gotta get it satisfied. Wow, really? Freud introduced the structural model id, ego, superego in the essay Beyond the Pleasure Principle. Sounds like Janet Jackson. In response to the unstructured ambiguity and conflicting uses of the term, the unconscious mind, he elaborated, refined, and formalized that model in the essay The Ego and the Id. We don't even need to go any further. So when she says, he's just in his ego. Okay, well, his ego is the one that's correcting shit. Right? His ego is the one that's correcting things, keeping shit in balance. I'm so sick of this fraud. You see how we just let her, if you just let her go and 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 go. Okay. None of this makes sense. Y'all writing on others. Where were you before this, Princella? I was right here on YouTube before this, Princella. I was doing what I'm doing right now before Miss Princella. Miss Princella hasn't changed anything. Like I said in my last slide, before we was riding on Princella, we was riding on Umar Johnson. Right? We did a little riding on Polite. We did a little riding on the conscious community. This is what we do when we feel we have people in the Black community that are scamming, that are taking people's little things that they should be saving. See, before COVID, that's what a lot of these fucking people were doing. You had a lot of YouTubers on here scraping up every little bit of extra money people had. And then when COVID hit, then nobody have no fucking money saved. My thing on YouTube is keep your money in your pocket, save for a rainy day. If you got $5 to give, that means you got $5 to save. But see, Black people, we seem to forget that storms come and go. So happy time. Somebody's making us feel all happy. Give. You're so happy that you want to give every little bit of coins you have. No, you should be happy and put every little bit of coins away for a rainy day. Right? That's my thing. Get a job, get a real fucking job, and stop hustling the people. And I can see it would interpret to going to the store and buying you a pack of cigarettes. It'll interpret going to the store and buying some chips. It will interpret to, going to the store and, I don't know, buying your favorite trinket or whatever. But still, You benefited from the money. You have some tangible items. You have some things that you need. Now, maybe they're giving her their money because they feel they need her. But honey, you need water. You need food. You need supplies in a disaster. What the fuck is this woman gonna do for y'all in a goddamn disaster? Not a goddamn thing. Tell y'all she didn't have no reception and her internet wasn't working and she couldn't pay her phone bill when y'all call and ask her for some goddamn money. Oh, Princella, the storm has come. Can you? It's gonna be. You're gonna get an. I'm sorry, but the person you've reached has a voicemail that hasn't been set up. Or I'm sorry, the person you've reached cannot be reached at this time. And then after the storm, boom, here she comes again. And everybody gonna say, Princella, where were you? Where were you? Girl, my internet was down. A tree had fallen on my house, and my car got flooded, and the hurricane just swept everything away. She gonna have a new phone up. This is my new number. I lost my cell phone. She gonna have every goddamn excuse in the book why she wasn't available to give you some of them funds you gave her in your time of need. So the next disaster that happens, because a disaster will happen, it's the way of the world. We don't want to hear none of you niggas or you females that donated to Princella talking about you need this and you need that. Right. So I don't want to hear none of that. She gonna be sitting in her cozy house, by her fireplace, drinking her wine, wearing her ball caps, and washing her wigs and blow drying them and pressing them out and sitting them on their little heads in her room. All that. You gonna be out here struggling, ain't got no food, can't pay your damn light bill, can't pay your rent. Her shit gonna be paid up for 2 years off all the money that y'all gave her. Do you guys not see the future? Do you guys not see the future in this bullshit? Put your money in your fucking pocket, in your bank account. Save, 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 save. Right? Save, 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 save. So a facet of being a cult member like Am Joy speaking against their goddess Princella is blasphemous. Yeah. Yeah. So what did she say? Let the chips fall, spoken or unspoken. Shit gonna get right, whether man or woman like it or not. All truth will be revealed. Then let's see who is on what side. Oh, lukewarm clowns. Okay. Okay. Ma'am, lukewarm is in the middle where the ego is. Cold and hot. Lukewarm is in the middle. Baby, concerning Princella the Queen Maker, I am not lukewarm. I am very hot. I have took my stance. I'm not ambiguous about it. I'm not for her, against her. I don't give a, I'm against what she's doing. Okay? Because I know she's a fraud. Okay? I know she's running a cult. Anytime you got negative things to say about a woman still wanting to be with a man, or a woman leaving your group to go be with a man, and you got a problem with it, you're gonna ridicule her, honey. You're in a cult. Exactly. At Indy, it's almost like an acid test for knowing you're in a cult. Right. Right. If anyone needs to know who's got the power, just ask the question, who am I not allowed to question? Right. Who has the power over them? Ask, who am I not allowed to question? So anyway, we address the ego. The ego is the basically the one that got shit on lock. Right? The ego, organized, realistic agent that mediates between the instinctual desires of the id and the critical superego. So the ego is actually where you want to be. You don't want to be on the id side and you don't want to be on the superego side. You want to be in your ego because that is what's going to tell you what's true and what's not. That is the one that's going to protect you. The id just lets you run around here like a chicken with your head cut off. And the super ego, you can't do shit. The ego is where it's at. So I mean, come on, y'all. They don't. She didn't like that. That's what she. You notice when I said that. That's why she came. That's why she came on here. She was like, "Oh no, she done attacked the ego." Yeah, yeah. That's why she came on here. See, whenever you know you saying something right, that's when one of her subscribers pops in to try to throw a monkey wrench into what you're saying. No, baby, the ego is where you need to be. They can't see Indie Cider. They can't see she's playing them. When she's done using them for money, she's likely to leave them behind in the emotions and broke and used up. And she is. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Mind you, remember, I'm telling you, she's telling you who she is. She's a tomboy. She wants to be a man. She acts like a man. She talks like a man. She carries herself like a man. So what the fuck is she going to do to these women? She going to do them just like a man does them. She going to use them up. Then she going to throw them away like a piece of garbage. The very thing that these women are saying the men did to them. Or, you know what I'm saying? So what makes you think you're going to get something different from her when she's a woman acting like a man? If that's what all men do. If all men are evil. Doesn't she want to be a man? Doesn't she act like a man? Doesn't she eat cooch? Right? All these different things that a man does. She wears ball caps and basketball clothes and different things of that nature. What you think she's going to do to her subscribers? She's going to treat them just like the men in their lives because she's no better. Whenever she needed something, she's telling these women, oh, the community of women. But whenever she needed something, who did she go to? She went to the community of men. Now, why the grease gooch? Okay. All of a sudden, well, let's do this first. We are going to, let me close some of these things so I can see where I'm at because I got a lot of windows open. So, oh yeah. I don't want to close that one. Okay, I can close that one. I can close this one. I can close that one. What is this? Okay, I need that one. I'll probably look at that one. What was this? Okay, I can close this one. I probably should have left it open, but it's neither here nor there. Okay, let me see what this one is. What is this one? I don't need that one. I don't need that one. The ego. He's in his ego. Yeah, he in his right mind. These men are in their right mind. So if you're in your ego, you're in your right mind. There is the id that is the disorganized part of the person. So boom, wrong about that. Okay, I don't. Okay, I got what I needed off of that one. What is this? I don't know if that is what. Okay, well, I'll keep that one. If it's the same, yeah. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to close some of these windows. So, I don't need this one. All right, so we get into the grease gooch. Okay, bye, cool cat. See you later. So we get into the grease gooch. I guess this is a big thing on YouTube right now about the gooch grease. You know, they're making fun of men who they, I don't know how you would be. I mean, who came up with this? I mean, have you ever, I've never seen gooch grease on a man. I don't deal with them type of men, right? I've never seen a man have that issue or smelled a man with that issue. So I don't know I don't know what's going on here. Are these guys that are homeless that can't take a bath? I mean, what's really going on, right? One would ask themselves the question like, what will be going on? So gooch grease is supposed to be an accumulation of sweat, dry feces, and lint in the area between the anus and the scrotum sac, right? So I'm saying to myself, like, and then they have it to the point where they have to wear a pad. Now that doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sound right to me. So there has to be something severely wrong if a man has to wear a sanitary napkin in order to catch this gooch grease. So anyway, let me share my screen and then we're going to look at the Urban Dictionary's definition of gooch grease, right? So gooch grease, let me see if you guys can see it. I'm going to make it bigger. So gooch grease. Okay, that's all I need. All right, so gooch grease. So by Peter T. Adams Jr., June 4th, 2005. So like I said, it's been around for a long time, so it's not a new term. So gooch grease, similar to swamp ass. Gooch grease is the disgusting smelling mixture of sweat, shit crusties, and lint that forms along the inner gooch, forming a slime-like substance. Right? After a long night at the club, my boxers were covered in gooch grease. Yeah, that means you had crusty shit on your ass before you went to the club, before, in order to have gooch grease. Now, if you said after a long night at the club, my boxers were covered in sweat and lint, that's a different story because we all sweat, right? We all sweat. So I don't know where the crusties came from, dude. Did you wash your ass before you went to the club? That's number one, right? So then it says gooch grease, butt crack oil. We all have butt crack oil, right? So there's he said this in 2005. He said this in 2021. So butt crack oil, dingleberry juice. We worked out so hard today in gym. We had gooch grease coming out of our shorts. That sounds like sweat. Yeah, butt crack oil. I don't know where the crusties came from, right? His gooch grease rays running down his leg after the hot weather made him sweat. Yeah, it's natural, right? Gooch grease, a thin, musky film of grease which collects in the gooch region of the men body. His gooch felt wet. I could feel the gooch grease. Really? Whose gooch grease are you feeling? Yeah. So now we have three different definitions? Swamp ass, that's the shit crusties. And then we have butt crack oil, which everybody has butt crack oil, including women. And then we have a thin, musky film of grease. So we got three definitions. You see how the English language, you got three definitions for one saying. Okay? So that didn't make any sense. So now, let's do this. Let's look at this video that everybody is, that has gone viral, right? that's gone viral. And then we'll talk about this. Okay, so you guys can see it. You can't make this shit up. Okay.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. When my producer sent me this topic, I had to stop my lunch. I just couldn't eat anymore. It's a male hygiene problem or issue called Gooch grease. I was like, what the hell is that? And after Googling it, I was bothered, victimized, bamboozled, led astray.
No, because you have Gooch grease as well. I'm not going to say the shit crusties. But your butt crack, you got butt crack oil just like everybody else. So what is the issue? Why the pretending like you don't have butt crack oil?
It's described as a culmination of lint, sweat, and dried up pieces of feces between a man's butt and balls. First of all, who are these men? But the problem is so bad for some men, according to some reports, they now have to use women's maxi pads to stop the mixture from messing up their underwear. It's a mixture now. Let's get into this.
Okay, that's enough of that, right? Now, here's the thing. Y'all know that the code is a registered nurse, right? I'm a registered nurse. So in my thinking and in my research, if you're having such drainage coming from your anus, you have a bigger problem, right? Like I said, everybody sweats. Everybody has butt crack oil, right? However, if you're having it to the point to where you have to wear a maxi pad, it sounds to me like you have a loose ass. It says that something is wrong with your anal sphincters because you have two. You have an inner sphincter and then you have what we can see the outer sphincter. And that's, when you look at somebody's butt crack, right? Both of them got to be messed up. And so how would your anal sphincters become loose like that? I'm not going to say it because we're all smart, we're all somewhat educated, and we all know how a butt crack or anal sphincters can become loose, right? So let's do this before I do that. So okay, here we go. Let's look at this really quick because we got to do some educating, right? Anytime you have people just blurting out things like this without the educational aspect of it, without the anatomy, you lead people to think that every man has Gooch grease, and every man does not have Gooch grease. Everybody has butt crack oil, right? Because you got you have two structures, which is the left buttock and the right buttock, that meet each other, right? They rub, right? You sweat just like your armpits sweat, right? That's a natural thing. But when you have shit dripping out your ass to where you have to wear a pad, you have something severely wrong. There needs to be some education going on. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to take a look at the anal sphincters. Right. When people don't research anything, especially their own body functions, they fall deep into a degenerative abyss. That is correct. That is definitely correct. So, internal anal sphincter. I don't know if they I probably have to look up the outer one, but we're going to look at the internal anal sphincter right now. The internal anal sphincter is a ring of smooth muscle that surrounds about 2.5 to 4.0 centimeters of the anal canal. It is about 5 millimeters thick and is formed by an aggregation of the smooth, involuntary, circular muscle fibers of the rectum. It terminates distally about 6 millimeters from the anal orifice, right? The internal anal sphincter aids the sphincter ani externus to occlude the anal aperture and aids in the expulsion of the feces. Its action is entirely involuntarily. So that's the inner sphincter, to where when you gotta poo, and it feels like it's sitting right there at your butt, right there. Like if I let go loose, it's about to come out. That's because that involuntary sphincter has allowed stool to pass through it. You ain't got no control over that one. You only have control over the outer one to hold it so it don't come out. But that inner sphincter is involuntary. You have no control. It's going to open when it gets ready. When it feels the feces knocking at its door, it's going to say, "Okay, open up," and it hits that other sphincter, the one that you do have control over, right? You ain't got no control over. It's going to let the shit come. It's going to let it go. It is normally in a state of continuous maximal contraction, which means it's closed the majority of the time, to prevent leakage of feces or gases that you saw. Okay? It is normally in a state of continuous maximal contraction to prevent leakage of feces or gases. Sympathetic stimulation stimulates and maintains the sphincter's contraction, and parasympathetic stimulation inhibits it. It becomes relaxed in response to distension of the rectal ampulla, requiring voluntary contraction of the puborectalis and external anal sphincter to maintain continence. So like I said, that external anal sphincter, you have control over. That's when you tighten your butt. I can't let it out, right? The internal anal sphincter is the specialized, thickened terminal portion of the inner circular layer of smooth muscle of the large intestine. It extends from the pectinate line, anal-rectal junction, proximally to just proximal to the anal orifice distally. The distal termination is palpable. Its muscle fibers are arranged in a spiral rather than a circular manner. At its distal extremity, it is in contact with, but separates from, the external anal sphincter. So, which means that if you look here, over here, right? This little part right here, that's the inner anal sphincter, right? So this is what you have no control over. Down here, this is it right here. This is the inner sphincter. This is the lower portion of your intestines. This right here is the sphincter, your inner anal sphincter. And then down here would be the external, the one you have control over. It would be down here, right? Honey, something has to be wrong with this one and this one. Like this one, it doesn't sit at it. It's not contracted all the time. So if you don't have anything sitting right here, then this one can be relaxed, right? You don't always have to tighten it up. You can just have it and just be there. It maintains closure because it's just like this one. It's just like this sphincter. It maintains closure. It's not just some hole that's open. Your butt is just open. No, it has the same structure as this. It's the same muscles as this, but you don't have control over this one. You have control over that one. So there has to be something wrong with this inner anal sphincter that's just allowing stuff to drip out your butt, right? It's just allowing stuff to drip out, right? Something's wrong, people. Something's wrong. Okay. Now, I pulled up this research article and it's from 2012, but it's a good one. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to tell you where it is so you can go read it for yourself. There's some content in there that I do not want to post on here, but I will go to the top and I will share with you so you can see the DOI number. You can see, where it's from. So it's from the National Library of Medicine, and it was published in 2012, right? And the title of it is Complete Anal Sphincter Complex Disruption from Intercourse. A case report and literature review. Complete anal sphincter complex disruption from intercourse, right? That is, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. We got to keep it 100. Let me make this bigger. We got to keep it 100. We have to educate. We have to educate. And I did a video on this. Years ago, telling the consequences of anal sex using it as if it's a vagina. You can use a vagina over and over and over again all day, every day. Anal sex, you're not supposed to do every day, all day. You know how some women they do that Valentine's special. It's a special occasion, Valentine's special occasion with their man. But as far as something every day, all day, there's consequences. And I did the consequences of that, right? I've never had a huge following. I've never had a whole bunch of people watch all of my videos. So it's out there. I told you motherfuckers so. Now we come to the Gooch grease. I told you. It's there. It's there. I told you. It's not my fault. I told you the consequences years and years and years ago. So now we're to this point where we got a lot of loosey-gooseys out here. Okay, to where you got to wear a fucking pad. So let me scroll down. I said some stuff I want to scroll. They're doing a anal sphincter repair. So I wanted to skip over all that. I don't want to have that on my my thing. Okay, so we're gonna start here. There are several potential dangers with anal intercourse, including transmission of communicable diseases, mucosal lacerations, fecal incontinence, and injury to the anal sphincters. We expect the incidence of anal injuries to increase parallel to the rising prevalence of anal intercourse in homosexual and heterosexual relationships. It's both of us, right? It is estimated that up to 40% of men and 35% of women engage in heterosexual anal intercourse. Right now, this was in 2012. Imagine the rise in anal intercourse today in 2023, right? Of course, the prevalence of this activity varies by demographics and nationalities, ranging from a low of 3.5% of survey respondents in South Korea to a high 18.5% of survey respondents in France. So remember, this was done in 2012. We are now in 2023. There has been an increase in this activity, and the people who have been engaging in this activity since many years ago, these, and then how often we're doing it now, these are the ones that are suffering the consequences of it, to the point where you have to wear a pad. Okay, this is not Gooch grease that just accumulate. No, this is drainage. This is what we call drainage, right? Women have to wear a sanitary napkin on their cycle because they have blood drainage. Okay. Most genital anal injuries are minor and only require symptomatic treatment. Rectal perforations and sphincter injuries, while much less common, demand emergent operative intervention. This patient sustained a severe perineal laceration. So her perineum lacerated. You can have that during pregnancy. During giving birth. You can have that through all different things. But my point being was, there are several potential dangers with anal intercourse, including transmission of communicable diseases, right? Mucosal lacerations and fecal incontinence. Fecal incontinence doesn't just mean you poop on yourself. No, it means that sphincter is pretty much to the point where it's letting shit out, and you have no control over it. That outer sphincter, it's not leak proof. The inner sphincter is supposed to be leak proof. And if you have to wear a pad as a man to catch this drainage, there's something severely wrong with your inner sphincter, and you need to get to the doctor immediately and have yourself evaluated and maybe have that fixed. And then you probably need to stop doing what you're doing back there. Women as well. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. So now we had a thing. We were talking about STDs and how, these men are just giving you so many diseases and how they're just infecting you. Well, if you look at the rotation, let's look at the rotation. In order for a man to come up with or be infected with human STDs, what does a man have to do? Because it just doesn't come out of thin air. We're not talking about BV, even though it's sexually transmitted. We're talking BV. That could happen, the mixing of two different vaginas. It can happen if the man doesn't clean himself before intercourse and he got some not so good bacteria lingering around his private parts. That's why it's important to shower before you have intercourse. But how does a man actually get an STD in order to spread it? He has to put his penis in some woman's vagina without a condom in order to get an STD, to give it to the next woman. Right? Yeah. So it would seem that when we talking about how nasty men are, it seems that women are nastier, because this is where they're picking up these venereal diseases from. They're picking them up from women. Right? Now, in all fairness, you can have these STDs anally, right? So let's look at that one. Let's look at what this says. right? There has to be some education. There has to be. Can't just be on YouTube saying all kind of stuff without education. If people don't look at this video, I don't give a damn. I told you so. Right? So this one is, what are the symptoms of anal chlamydia? Which means that you can have chlamydia anally, right? Let me make it bigger. Okay, so you're probably aware that STDs can and do happen, and that you want to do your best to avoid them. But while you've been monitoring what's happening in and around your vagina, you might be missing another area where you could get an STD. Your butt. Okay, yep. You can actually get STDs, aka sexually transmitted infections, or STIs in your anus and rectum. Right? Quick biology recap. Your anus is the opening at the outer at the lower end of your intestines. Your rectum is the last several inches of your intestine closest to your anus. But how? We're now very much aware of rectal and anal STI infections due to gonorrhea and chlamydia, says STI researcher Peter Leon, MD, adjunct associate professor of epidemiology for the Gillings School of Global Public Health and professor of medicine for the School of Medicine at the University of North Carolina. People hadn't really thought about it in the past. Let's talk about anal chlamydia specifically, since cases in the U.S. are skyrocketing, especially in younger people, according to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Let's look at when this was written. This was in 2021. We are now 2 years later, right? Most of the time, people contract chlamydia in their anus through anal intercourse, Dr. Leon says. There's also some debate on whether you can get chlamydia or gonorrhea in your anus indirectly through spreading from your vagina, he says. It's even possible to end up with chlamydia if your partner puts an infected finger or toy up there, Dr. Leon says. Wow. So, oh man. Okay. I'm not going to elaborate on that. I could, but I'm going to skip that. How common is anal chlamydia? There's not a lot of data on how often women get chlamydia in their anus, but it does happen. And women who reported having anal sex and got tested for STIs at the Miami-Dade Health Department, 17.5% had rectal chlamydia and 12.5% of those had anal symptoms, per a study published in 2017. It's hard to translate that to general population, though, given that we're talking about 17.5% of people who had anal intercourse and got tested for STIs. Still, it's clearly an issue that can pop up, right? It's a lot to take in, but it's good to be aware of this information just in case. Here's what you need to know about anal chlamydia. What are the symptoms of anal chlamydia? Most people with anal chlamydia don't have symptoms, Dr. Leon says. But if you do have symptoms, the CDC says they might show up several weeks after you had sex with an unprotected partner. These are the biggies to look out for: rectal pain, discharge, bleeding. That's slightly different from vaginal chlamydia, which also usually doesn't have symptoms. When symptoms do happen, the CDC says they include an abnormal vaginal discharge, a burning sensation when you pee, right? We all know, either protect yourself during sex to prevent any STDs, right? Go see a doctor if you think you have one so that you don't spread it, right? Those are the things you do. But I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention because some people think that they can't get STIs in their anus, and you can. That applies to both men and women. Right? So we need to be careful while we're talking about spreading STIs. A man doesn't get an STI unless he puts it in somewhere to spread it somewhere else, right? So also what I did was I took the liberty of looking up the history of STDs, right? Because y'all know I like to do that. I like to do my research. I like to look stuff up. And so what I came up with, I'm going to share my screen. What I came up with was, let me see where this is. This is News Medical Life Science. And this was written by Dr. Ananya Mandal, MD. I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, but yeah, yeah. Okay, so STDs have been known to mankind for centuries. Before the advent of modern medicine, people's lack of awareness and understanding of STDs contributed to the widespread transmission of the infections, while few or no treatments were available to treat the conditions. Let me make this bigger. So, in medieval times, syphilis and gonorrhea were two of the most prevalent STDs in Europe. One theory suggests that syphilis was spread by crew members who picked up the disease on the voyages led by Christopher Columbus. Now, how would these men have picked up these diseases or this disease if they hadn't had intercourse with a woman? Right? Mind you, they have to stick it in something in order to get it. So it said that these men picked up the diseases on the voyages led by Christopher Columbus. Some people would dispute the voyage, but it's neither here nor there. They are thought to have contracted syphilis while in the Americas and to have then spread it on their return when docking at ports in Europe. Sailors are also thought to be responsible for the spread of gonorrhea from Tahiti to New Zealand during the Cook voyages. So how are they responsible for spreading it when it was spread to them first? It had to be spread to them first. So which means, you had a bunch of men on a voyage with Christopher Columbus who were STD free. And then on these voyages, they stopped and had sex with these women and caught syphilis. Right? Same as these sailors. You're not going to sail no damn where, if you sick. So these were healthy men that went sailing and picked up gonorrhea and spread it from women. Okay. It was in the late 19th and early 20th century that the importance of tracing the sexual partners of a person infected with an STD was recognized. Soon, sexual health clinics were set up to identify and treat individuals with STDs and their partners to prevent spread in the general population. Another major problem that arose was an increase in adolescent sexual activity in the mid-20th century. This led to widespread infection among younger age groups and also changed the way healthcare policymakers tried to raise awareness through campaigns. So, with that being said, men have to they have to pick up these diseases first in order to spread them. And where are they getting them from? They're getting them from women who are not who have poor pussy management. Yeah. So, I also did you guys another service. And I went to cases of STD by disease and gender, right? So I went to Statista. I've used this site in school. So, number of reported cases of sexually transmitted diseases in the United States in 2019 by disease and gender. So, chlamydia, male, 644,337. 637. 337. I'm sorry. Female, that's 1,160,470. More women have chlamydia than men, or had chlamydia than men in 2019. Okay. Who should be aware of who? These men should be aware of these women, because they have to put their penis inside of a vagina in order to pick up an STD. So while we're sitting here calling men nasty, no, you women are nasty. You women have poor pussy management. You're out here sleeping around, getting chlamydia, getting gonorrhea, getting syphilis, and you're passing it around. Gonorrhea, male, y'all running neck and neck, 361,586. Female, 2,553, 359. Y'all neck and neck. Primary syphilis. I don't know what primary. I don't know what the hell those are. Primary and secondary. I have to look those up. But syphilis is syphilis, right? Men you guys are winning. You guys are winning in the syphilis. However, they had to pick it up from somebody. So if you have 12,899 men with primary syphilis, that means you had 12,899 women with syphilis. If you had secondary syphilis, if you had 19,503 men with syphilis, secondary syphilis, that means you have 19,503 women with syphilis. Now, these are reported cases, right? Yeah. Men have to put it in order to get a disease out. Hi, Randy SoCal. How are you? Yeah, men have to put it in order to get the disease out. You women are terrible. Y'all had a lot of chlamydia in 2019. So stop it. Right? Stop it. I can't make it up. I didn't make it up. The data is right there. I've shown it to you. It's not something that fell out the sky to my head. Right? It's nothing I made up. None of that. So, I mean, yeah, you guys, it sounds to me like men have been trying to warn other men. Whoop, no, you didn't just come on. No, you're not about to make noise. No, you're not. It sounds like men need to be more cautious. They were right. They were right when they said you have to watch out for these women. You have to watch out for these women. Queen of Wands. This is really what you want to do. Yeah, I want to tell the truth, ma'am. Queen of Wands, ma'am. I want to tell the truth. And the truth is that a lot of these women got poor pussy management. Y'all passing out diseases to these men so they can pass them out to other. You guys are the culprit. You women are doing this to other women. You're doing it to each other and you're blaming it on men. Oh, he gave me an STD. Okay, well, who the fuck gave it to him? Ma'am? Who gave it to him? Where'd he get it from? One of y'all. Which are women community. Yeah, kumbaya community. Yeah, I know. We all can't be mammies. We all can't be mammies, right? You jealous because you're not a mammy, right? No one holds you in high regard. Mammies are held in high regards, ma'am. Ma'am. Mammies are held in high regards, right? We're the caretakers of children. We raise the children. We make sure they have a proper upbringing, ma'am. See, I told y'all every time I be hitting the nail on the head. One of these bitches come out, hit the nail on the head, which means the fact of the matter is that you guys are just doing group think and you're not doing individual think. Think for yourself, ma'am, Queen of Wands. You're a queen. Queens think for themselves, right? Queens don't just follow along. Queens lead, right? So if I can't tell the truth, something is wrong with society. Not me, society. Ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. All right. So, yeah, as a matter of fact, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. That belongs to me. No, ma'am. Okay. So cut it out. Every time I hit the nail on the head, one of these broads come up and they have a major issue with what I'm saying. You're not a queen of wand. You're probably you're a what how we say? You're a follower. You're not a queen. You're a follower, ma'am. Sorry to have to break the news to you, right? Anytime somebody can't come on here and tell the truth, something is wrong. But it's not me with the problem. It's you women with the problem. Because as long as you hide the truth, you will never solve the problem. If you don't tell the truth, you will continue to live in your world of lies. It's a world of lies over there. These men pick up these STDs from you women who have poor pussy management. Okay? And we need to go ahead and put that on the t-shirt. Poor pussy management. You got poor pussy management out here spreading these STDs and then blaming them on men. Anyhow, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up. There's something I want to do before I have to get out here on the road. And I want to thank you guys for joining me. You guys are all special to me. I enjoy spending time with you guys and enlightening. I don't want to say educating because I know my followers, you guys are very smart. Yeah, I know this stuff, right? But you guys take care. I will see you in my next live. Right? So you guys have a good day. And I'm going to make, let me just tell you this really quick. I'm going to make soap tonight. So I will probably tomorrow, when I can unmold it and cut it, I will show you guys a picture of, it's just going to be a basic soap because I'm still waiting for my colors to come in. But it's going to be, I want it to be just this beautiful ivory colored soap. And hopefully it will turn out that way. So anyway, have yourselves a good day, and I will see you guys later.
We must internalize the flatulation of the matter by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection. Now, if I may retain my liquids here for one moment, I'd like to continue the redundance of my quote-unquote intestinal tract, see, because to preclude on the issue of world domination would only circumvent, circumcise the revelation that it reflects the aphrodisiac symptoms which now perpetrates the Jericho's activation.
100%, 100%, looking good, battery talking to you so much. My phone feeling warm, what's going on? What's going on? Temperature rising, my phone getting warmer by the minute. I think it's smoking. Where's the ice? Should I put my phone in a bag of rice to bring it back to life? I got my charger, I got my charger, 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 charger, ooh, charger, ooh, charger, ooh.
Laughs. Why aren't you laughing? It was so funny when you were disrespecting me. It was so funny. But then when I take it to my level, because there are always levels. So when I take it to my level, all of a sudden everybody stops laughing. Everyone thinks it's funny when I'm being disrespected. But then when I get disrespectful, nobody laughs. Why aren't you laughing? It was so funny when you were disrespecting me. It was so funny. But then when I take it to my level, because there are always levels. So when I take it to my level, all of a sudden everybody stops laughing. Everyone.
Bye, y'all.